Tuesday. How are we doing, everybody? Repping with Highway to Hell, my favorite WWE event of all time, up there with SummerSlam, WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hell yeah, brother. You are back with the man, Sammy the Man McIntyre, with Moving the Chains podcast. How are we doing today? Not as good as Buffalo Bills, because they lost last night. Todd Opachich, I apologize. He's the biggest Bills fan I know. I love his gym. Give a shout out to him. So I watched both games last night, and I want to give my both takeaways on that, big picture, what I thought in the moment. So let me start with this. So Buffalo, I've been critical, you guys know, of Sean McDermott. I think he's a good coach. I'm not saying he's a bum. But, dude, you've had Josh Allen there your whole time, and you have not been to a Super Bowl. So something's got to give. I understand the Chiefs have been in your conference. It's kind of like when when Peyton Manning was in his prime, Tom Brady was in his way. I understand that completely. But, dude, some things stay the fucking same. And I'm watching that last night, and a couple thoughts ran through my head. Are they too reliant on this guy? Because I'm watching it, and their play calling was just shitty last night. God, it just, the 4th and 1, and the run game was hit and miss. And it's like, hey, Josh, Superman, put it on us, let's go. And I'm watching it again, and I just, at some point with Josh Allen, he's going to look up and he's going to go, can I get out of here? Because I don't think I'm ever going to win here. And it's a shame, because the Bills are wasting. And listen, they were without some guys last night. Everybody in the league's goddamn injured, for crying out loud. They're allowed with the receivers. Coleman they have. I like Shakir. I like the tight ends. Cook's a really solid back. I don't know if he's top 5, but he's really good. And their own line's okay, but not great. And I'm watching it, and it just feels like I've seen this movie. I felt like I was watching week 1 again, where it's Josh, be Superman, be amazing. And you could be that for a quarterback. And listen, Josh Allen is a trailer. He'll carry the team on his back. I've seen him do it. But you want your quarterback not to be that all the time. Look at the Chiefs. They're doing it the right way. But I look at the Bills, man, and listen, they've lost 2 straight. And listen, I still think, and I said it before the year, I got my notes here. It's great having you guys on, by the way. I had this down. Before the year, I said, hey, Bills are going to win their division, and they are. But who did I say behind them? The Patriots. And, Buffalo's lost 2 in a row. They've had 29 penalties. It's not good enough. I think they're stuck with Sean McDermott. And I believe at the end of the season, they fire him. Because if he gets fired, let's just say for the sake of argument, Bills' job's open, Bengals. You take the Bills' job. Because you have a quarterback in his prime. A lot of good personnel there. I'm not saying the Bills are a bad team. They are. They're a good team. I'm not saying they're bad. But that job's open. You take that in a heartbeat. Because you got that guy at quarterback. Who's generational. And you stop having him Superman all the time. And I just feel like with Sean McDermott, listen, he built this thing and he got them right on back on track. They were a dog shit program. I got all that. And he deserves credit. Him and Brandon Beane have done a nice job with this roster. But it's flawed, man. Their defense is so small. I mean, they remind me of those Colt teams. I was thinking about this tonight. When Peyton Manning was in Indianapolis and they just had that dome feel. When coincidentally, Buffalo's outside, so you'd think they'd be more tougher, more physical. But I just don't feel it. I don't. I feel like their D-line's really small and quick, which works when you're, all that, but it's not, and they're getting gashed in the run game. I mean, they had holes last night. I watched that Cowboy documentary, as I mentioned last night on here. It felt like Emmitt Smith had this big of lanes for you, John Robinson. Yeah, that's not good. Derrick Henry shredded you. New England kind of had some success against you. And New England's coming. Like, they're 4-2 right now. Same as you. So you better, Buffalo, get your crap together because New England's coming. I've been saying this, man. New England, you think they're getting better now? Watch out, because all these kids are young. Drake Young's young. Drake May's young. Will Campbell, your witness said Will Campbell will be a fucking stud. And what do you know? He's a stud, badass, held down Bosa the other night. Now, Bosa's not what he was, but you're seeing him go mano-a-mano against Joey Bosa. I went, whoa. Yep, that's why he was an All-American. Yep. That's why. He's a badass. Mike Vrabel's kind of guy. Chip off the old block. Tough. Resilient. Gamer. Oppose your will. Yeah, that's that guy. And they're getting better. Drake May and this offense, they're getting the more explosive plays. They still got a lot to grow. But I'm telling you, Buffalo is still probably, in my mind, going to win the division. They're going to be okay. But I got concerns with Buffalo. They better at the trade deadline get a weapon and get some big-time defensive tackle to shore up this run defense. Because if not, you're going to be out first round. Because 48 hours ago, I was like, now Chiefs Bills again. That going to happen now? Did the Kansas City fear you? No. So, I listen, Buffalo's going to be okay. They got Josh Allen. They're fine. But you better wake up, Buffalo, because there's a team coming in your division, and it's called New England Patriots. So, do something. And get better discipline. Because 28 penalties in the last 3 games, are you kidding me? That's inexcusable. So, still got 10 weeks left, as my dad says, but didn't look pretty last night. I want to switch over to Atlanta. So, Buffalo, I'm concerned, but they're okay. Okay, so Atlanta last night, when I watched that game, Atlanta Falcons played, I would say, a Philadelphia Eagle-like game plan, which is, hey, Michael, hey, Big Mike, easy completions, under center. They were having problems with man coverage last night, and Buffalo did a really good job disguising, dropping back and then playing the cover 3 and all that stuff that they were talking about. I will say this right now. Michael Penix, I will say this. He is the prettiest thrower, one of the prettiest throwers of football I've ever seen up live. I saw it live down at the Combine. And I've heard this too, like scouts and personnel people say you can watch a quarterback in college on tape and through, game film or on TV copy. But when you see it live, it's different. And he's in that rare air for me with Mahomes and those guys. When I see a guy throw, one of the best arm talents I've ever seen. Now, I'm not saying power arm, but I'm saying the way the ball spins off the hand, it's badass, it's lefty, it's just cool. It's aesthetically pleasing. But there's more to that being a quarterback, I get that, but I think he's got all the check boxes. I think Atlanta's done a nice job. I still contend, though, they need to get a guy at the deadline. And I'm talking like a burner. They need a dude. Like a Bryant, I'm not saying they need a Tyreek Hill type. And I've suggested that. I don't know if they will do it. And I don't know if Atlanta, are they there yet? I don't know. But I would look around Atlanta going, okay, let's try and make some moves here. Because their team right now, the way I've been so impressed with them. The tip of the cap to Raheem Morris last night. He pitched a hell of a game plan last night. They went from the opening kickoff. They said, we're out for blood. We want this game. Monday Night Football in Atlanta. That place is cool. And under the lights, first time in since 2018, I remember that. It was a Giants game. And it just felt big last night in Atlanta. And I always think Georgia. I think the Georgia Bulldogs, obviously. And then the Falcons have had their runs. But, man, it just felt cool last night. And Atlanta deserves the Falcons to be good. Because when they have been good in most of my life, they've been fun. Go back to the 98 team when they, unfortunately they faced John Elway. And then, they did blow the 28-3. I don't need to go over that more. But they've had good teams. Now, they haven't won a Super Bowl, but they've gotten there. That's, most teams can't say that. But I just love their game plan last night. They blitzed the hell out of Josh Allen. I believe 55 times, 50% of the time last night, 55% of the time last night. And they hit him 42 or something around those lines. I listened to Middlecoff today. He did a preview. I have to listen to a little pod tomorrow. But he brought that up today. So they did a phenomenal job. Bijan Robinson is awesome. He's awesome. He's fantastic. And the way their offensive line was, they've been criticized, but they're pretty good. They can run block really good. Their pass pro's okay. But the way they run block, the way they open up lanes for Bijan, it's phenomenal. And Bijan, to me, if I have a comp for him, I heard this coming out of college with Daniel Tomlinson. I thought, whoa, a little over the top. This dude's it. He's him. He's got that swagger to him. So He's phenomenal. I don't see a flaw in his game. He can pass, bro. He can catch the ball. Runs it really well. Great vision. I was impressed with Atlanta last night. I really was. I really think that they got something going right in the right direction down there. Their pass rush is finally clicking. It took a while. I haven't seen a Falcon pass rusher since John Abraham for those couple of years down in Atlanta. And then Vic Beasley, obviously, that fluke year in 2016 when they went to the Super Bowl. But outside of that, it's been a lot of hit and miss with the pass rush. And it has been non-existent for the most part. So, great win for Michael Penix. I'm pulling for the kid. I love him. He was one of my guys for that draft. I'm still pulling for him. I think the way that it looks right now, NFC South's kind of, for being a weak division, like, all seems pretty good. Saints are pretty shitty, but they're pretty competitive. Their offense can put up points, So, it's Tampa, and then I think Atlanta, and Carolina's right there. So, it's going to be a very tight race in the NFC South moving forward. Kind of going to be a cannibalism who's going to get the top 3 spots. It could be, Carolina could fall apart, and New Orleans, we never know. So, there's a lot of time left. So, just to recap, Bills, concerned, going to be okay. Atlanta, impressed, and I was intrigued last night with their approach and the way that they went about it. And Raheem Morris got that team going in the right direction. Can they continue? We shall see. They have the Niners coming up next week, and I think they could win that game. I'm not too certain, but we'll see. Okay, so to all my Chicago family, you guys enjoyed a good win last night. Exact revenge in Washington, Monday Night Football in the pouring down rainstorm to that Hail Mary nonsense you guys blew last year in Washington. Last play of the game. So, Caleb Williams ousted Jane Daniels, second overall pick. I had the shirt on because it was 2 guys going at it. 2 beasts going at it. Stone Cold, Undertaker. This felt like that last night. Jane Daniels, Caleb Williams, number 1, number 2 overall pick. So, okay. Jane Daniels had a great rookie year. We've seen this. You get figured out a little bit. And I still think Jaden's playing okay. I don't think he's playing terrible football. He's not playing what he was last year. But he's been hurt. He's kind of been dinged. I got it. But I will say this. I want to touch on the Bears side first. So the Bears last night, they're well coached. I will say that about the Bears right now. That is why you pay $13 million for Ben Johnson. That's why. You bring a well-coached guy in who, Caleb is never going to be 69% completion percentage guy. I've come to terms with that. There's still some times with him I'm like, gee, whoa. He's a wild child. He's a wild stallion. You got to tame his ass. Okay? But I will say this. He's got him steering in the right direction. He's making good decisions, getting rid of the ball quicker. None of that hanging on too long shit. Time will tell if he goes back to his bad habits, but the way that he's got Caleb playing is encouraging for Bears fans. It really is. And listen, I've been the biggest critic of Caleb, and I still am because I'm not into the whole fingernail painting bullshit. But besides the point. But I will say this. They have good personnel. Their offensive line's clicking. Darnell Wright's a good player. They brought Joe Tooney from the Chiefs and the Patriots. So you've got some camaraderie on the offensive line. Still work in progress. Still times with Caleb. I'm screaming at my TV, get rid of the fucking ball. And he didn't And he didn't get rid of it last night. It took a couple sacks. So, excuse me. So, I still think there's some little bit of growing pains with Caleb. They are 3-2. They go into their bye week. Okay? Or I don't think they might have the bye. I can't remember. It's been a long day. But the Bears, the mistakes that Washington made are what the Bears have been making for 15 years. So it was reversal of that last night, and it just feels good that the Bears are good in Chicago. And they should be. That's a big city. It's the 3rd biggest in the country. When you have shitty ownership, that's what happens. And their coaching was so bad last year. Caleb, I said this to Drake May, like, it's just going to be hard for him to overcome it. So, congrats to the Bears. They got the win. They look good. Yeah, I hate saying it, but we shall see moving forward how they react to this. They got some time. Short week. But very impressed with the Bears. I thought they played really well last night. Under control, poised, well coached, and Caleb was fine. 250 yards, half of it was to Swift on the dump off, but encouraged last night if you're a Bear fan. That was really fun to see. On the Commander side of it, Kevin Craner, I was talking to you at the gym tonight. You're my guy. I appreciate you. That was ugly last night. The Commanders, I don't know what happened. I don't know. They're well-coached teams. Both these two teams are. But that was ugly last night. And I was a little bit alarmed by the Commanders. Redskins, I'm always going to call them. But they looked kind of pathetic last night. Jaden Daniels looked off. They had the turnover at the end. Again, I was watching it, but I was flipping back and forth. They had the Falcon-Bill game going on, and they had the Commander game. It's just so weird with these doubleheaders, but be that as it may, I don't get it. Drives me crazy, but is what it is. More football for me. So, hard to watch, but I can deal with it. But yeah, I thought last night the Commanders, they just looked off. There's something missing right now, and I don't know if it's Cliff Kingsbury's getting figured out, I don't know if it's Jaden getting figured out. They're going to be okay, because I think this NFC East is kind of up for grabs right now. I mean, Dallas is making, their offense can score points, but their defense sucks. Philadelphia's going in kind of a winding road of crap right now, of shit, because they were 4-0, kind of patching shit together. They've lost the last two. It's not looked pretty. And then, the Giants are competitive. They're feisty. They're kind of in the mix. So it's going to be a race to see what happens in the NFC East. But Washington better wake up, because they got Dallas coming up and then Kansas City coming up. So they better get turning alarms on in go mode, because they cannot fall too far behind in that competitive division of the NFC East. So that is all I wanted to touch on here tonight. Hope you guys are doing well. I got my Ray reaction going on tomorrow. Picks, reaction to the game. I got content all weekend. We got so many great games. I cannot wait. Hope you guys are doing well. Terrific Tuesday. Adios. Godspeed.